What's going on, everyone? Devin Knupp here with another video, and today we're going to be talking about what to do if the buyer cancels on you. So I've actually made this video before, but I'm just remaking it because I think the last time I made it, it wasn't all that good. Plus, I've had a few people asking me this question over and over again. I just want to put this answer out there one more time. So you get to the point, you sign up the deal, and you get it all under contract, and then you take the contract over to the title company. Everything goes through smoothly. You find a buyer for the deal. It's like you're making a good amount on this property. You got a good assignment fee, whatever. And then the buyer cancels the deal. What do you do now at this point? Do you just go home and cry? Yeah, that's probably what you should do, to be honest. But anyways, what you're going to do is there's actually a couple things that you're going to want to do. And I'm actually totally okay. Like, it's kind of annoying when the buyer cancels the deal. But, I mean, I usually end up still making money. And I'm going to teach you guys how to still make money on the deal, even if the buyer is one of those assholes that cancels on you. So what you're going to do is when you sign the assignment contract with the buyer, make sure that you get a non-refundable earnest money deposit. And that is really it. Once you do that, like, the rest is kind of like, it's not that big of a deal if they cancel. Yes, you do have to tell the seller that you're not able to go through with the deal, which is kind of annoying. I mean, you could try to get an extension on it and try to find another buyer, which would be the best bet. Just tell them, hey, that's a problem, but if we can extend the deal a little bit longer, then we'll make it work. Or if they're in a circumstance where they have to cancel, like if they need to close it by a certain day, if they're really a motivated seller, what I usually like to do is give them a little bit of the earnest money, so that way maybe they can hold on to the property just a little bit longer. So what you're going to do for the earnest money is, it totally obviously depends on what the price of the property is. But usually on average, I would say anywhere between $2,000 and $4,000. If it's like a normal assignment fee, if you're making between like $5,000 and I would say like $15,000, $20,000 on the deal, I would do probably like a $3,000 or $4,000 earnest money deposit on this deal, just so that way they really don't have any way backing out. I mean, they can back out, but they lose that money. So it convinces them to make things work, even if things fail on their end. So you still have the money at the end of the day. And if they cancel, you get to keep the money. You get to keep the earnest money deposit. So if it's a big assignment fee where it's kind of like more of a competitive deal, like you have a lot of people interested on this deal, like a lot, then I would probably do something upwards of like $10,000 as an earnest money deposit, just because you had to tell no to everybody else because they had the highest and greatest offer on this deal. So in those circumstances where you're making a bigger assignment fee, or this deal everybody wants, or if it's a scenario of both of these, then I would make sure they get a pretty big assignment fee just to make sure that they're serious on this deal. Because it would suck to cancel this deal and then let's say that you only did like a $2,000 earnest money deposit when it was like a $30,000 assignment fee. If you only get $2,000 when you're going to make $30,000, and then you have to cancel a deal and everything goes south, you're unable to extend the contract, and you only made $2,000 on this deal when you could have had someone else pick up the property and maybe made $28,000 on the deal, it's a little bit upsetting. So make sure to get a pretty decent size assignment fee, and always try to be able to push the date back if you do have to cancel. And this will kind of cover your ground. It will kind of cover your butt. It'll hold the buyer accountable, because that's the biggest thing. It's very easy if you don't get an earnest money deposit from the buyer and they cancel, there's nothing, like, you just kind of look like the bad guy and you didn't make any money whatsoever on the deal. And like I was saying before, you can always share part of the earnest money deposit with the seller, or have them keep whatever you gave them for earnest money. Just in case like they cancel and it's just a bad situation on their part. That's totally up to you and what you believe ethically and morally. But I usually like to do that if it kind of puts them into a bad situation, or if I really wasted their time with this deal, especially if it's like a long closing date. If it's not like a 5-7 day closing on this deal from when you sign up the deal. If it's like a 30-day one and you have it tied up for that long and you're unable to perform because of the buyer, usually for those scenarios, I like to kind of give them a little bit of what I'm making. Because at the end of the day, you get to keep that money. So you still like kind of get an assignment fee off of it. Like you still make money off of the deal. but obviously it's not the same as whatever the actual assignment fee would be. And so if the buyer is skeptical of giving that big of an assignment fee, just let them know that at the end of the day, it's just discounted from whatever the purchase price is of the deal. So let's say this house is $200,000 and they do a $10,000 earnest money deposit. All they have to bring to the closing table is $190,000. It's not like they lose that money. It's just like, it's essentially almost like a down payment on the house, but it's just letting them know, like, it's just them being like, hey, I'm serious about this deal. I have the money. I want to get this moving forward. For most buyers that are cash, it wouldn't be a problem whatsoever, unless they have some weird circumstance where they have a lot of money tied up and coincidentally in 2 weeks or whatever when the closing is, then all of a sudden they have all this capital tied up. Then they're able to pay the full amount. Even then, that's kind of a little bit of a sketch scenario. With most cash buyers, they should have like at least $10,000 on hand to be able to purchase the deal. So just make sure that you get a pretty decent sized assignment fee and you should be good to go. As far as like the contract and everything goes, just make sure that they don't really have any out clauses with any of it. I know as wholesalers, that's kind of like our biggest part of the deal is being able to have all these different clauses that in case we're unable to perform, we can cancel and get our earnest money deposit back. But with the buyer's end, because it's usually a little bit more competition on that end for who's buying the deal, you want to make sure that they don't have any out clauses whatsoever or anything that'll allow them to back out of the contract and get their earnest money deposit back. Because at the end of the day, really anybody could essentially cancel a contract and then just walk away from it and they would lose their earnest money deposit. But with an out clause in most states, you can walk, like if they were to cancel, they also get their earnest money deposit back, which you don't really want that because they're kind of wasting everybody's time if they do cancel. It's not just the seller's time that they're wasting. They're wasting our time. They're wasting all these other buyers that could have picked up the deal's time. And it's just kind of like this big escalade of different problems that the buyer canceling has, whereas as the wholesaler, if we cancel, it's just between you and the seller. Even then, like I don't really like to cancel contracts with the seller, but most scenarios, like if the buyer's unable to perform, you could just move past the deal. And it's all kind of like a learning experience at the day. But anyways, that's really it. I mean, I've kind of covered all the bases with it. If you guys have any other questions, let me know down in the comments down below. But at the end of the day, if they're a really serious buyer, they should be able to give you a pretty sizable earnest money deposit. If a buyer ever is super skeptical of giving you an earnest money deposit, I probably wouldn't trust that buyer, to be honest. Especially like as wholesalers, we want to make sure that we have long-term business with these people that are purchasing a lot of our deals in cash. And if we're trying to build up these relationships that are long-term, if people are ever kind of like sketchy or someone that you don't want to be doing business with, like super entitled, a lot of these different things, you don't have to do business with them. There's tons and tons of buyers out there. So you want to find the gems that will perform to everything that you find that you deem necessary. At the end of the day, really, like if you have one buyer that, let's say they've bought 20 deals off of you in the past, then in that case, maybe the earnest money deposit isn't all that essential because they've performed every single time. I mean, that's all up to you and how much you kind of like trust this buyer and everything. But at the end of the day, if they're picking up a lot of deals, then maybe this doesn't necessarily apply to that specific buyer, but that is totally up to you. I mean, you kind of like feel free to take your own risk assessment and everything with that. And along the lines of everything inside of this video, I also want to mention that I am not a legal attorney. I'm not giving you guys legal advice on anything whatsoever. This is kind of just my personal opinion. I know I'm kind of saying this a little bit late in the video, but I just, like, with any of this, whenever it comes to the contracts, I just want to make sure that you guys, like, I can give you guys, like, the documents and everything, but for it to be legally, like, to make sure everything's legal in your own state, I really recommend that you talk to either a title company or a closing attorney. So, anyways, that's what I got for you guys. If you guys need the contracts, I always have them down in the description down below. So, check out that link, and then you put in your email, and it'll send you off the contracts. But anyways, also, one more thing, if you guys have anything that's specific, anything that you want me to cover inside of this channel, drop it down in the comments down below. because I think I've answered just about every question about wholesaling in this business. I get a lot of people asking me questions that I've already covered in videos, which obviously I don't really want to remake a bunch of videos if I've already put them out there. But if there's ever a topic that you find, that you come across that you really need help with, maybe even if it's a specific circumstance, please let me know down below. I'll try to help you out. Maybe I'll make a video on it. Maybe it's just a quick, like, one sentence response. So anyways, that's what I got for you guys. If you haven't already joined the fam, join the gang by hitting the subscribe button down below and smash that like button if you got any value out of this video. But anyways, like always, I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Peace.